Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if you can all hear me. Wait. Yes, we got 120 people watching. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to make sure my bane of my existence, my sound is working. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Yes, testing. We got sound. By the way, apologies for DCA sound. It's not a mic problem. It's a software problem with StreamYard and Chrome. My Chrome doesn't work with StreamYard, and StreamYard's not compatible with Firefox, and the mic screeches. So hopefully this is much better. Thank you all for coming. Let's go. Sound is good. What I'm going to do, we had about, 180 topics that people wanted to discuss, so I distilled them all down into 10 broad topics. We're going to blast through those first because that will address hopefully 60 to 80% of the questions, and then the other half of this I will take direct questions, and K8 is going to grab them all as well. So let's bounce through this as we go. And first question that everybody is concerned about is, as we enter this bull market, can we define appropriate exit strategy for Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol for the cycle? At what price points would we scale out? So we are working on something. In fact, right after this meeting, I am spending the rest of the day with developers, and hopefully the grand vision I have is more of a sophisticated layer out model in combination with the data and the models we have. Also, not only just layer out, optimizing the layer out depending on people's price points, i.e. cost basis, and a rotation strategy. So it's complex. Some of these ideas I have are very, very complex, but we have the best developers probably anywhere to be able to make this happen. So let's talk about some of the initial layers first. This is Bitcoin on the layer out. I'll walk through these really quickly. Right now, as we see it, the layers go all the way up to about 160,000. That's layer 10. We may not get that high. We're then the number 9 layer is about 147K. 114K is layer 8. 81, 82 is layer 7. Now, it would be prudent for many to start taking some profits at some of these layers or rotating into things that haven't moved. Right now, we're seeing a very strong move in the markets. Solana continues to outperform things like Bitcoin and ETH, but that is Bitcoin. Let's look at the other one that you asked for, Solana. Solana has hence since moved. It's now up at live as I speak. Let's check the Solana price. Bitcoin shot above 68K and Solana's over $180. Now, the profit taken layer, this one is difficult because it runs so fast. I think we need to think about at least $250 to $360, maybe $500. But again, I share everything I do in real time and transparently, so you'll see what I'm doing when the time comes. By the way, my cost basis on Solana with staking, even though I've been adding, is just around $20, maybe a slight bit less, like 19 and change. So, I always stress as well, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. When we have such a low cost basis and, it's 180 now, it's only prudent to just, don't go greedy, don't try nail the exact top, but take whatever you can. Get that car, get that vacation, make that memory, stock it somewhere safe. I am rotating out of crypto slowly over the next year and a half into AI. That's my whole plan. AI stocks that haven't pumped yet. Ethereum, this one is a little bit different. Could we break 5 to 6K this cycle? Yes, we can. But the question is, when we're at, say, 3,100 and it goes to 5,000, that's not for me. That's not a very exciting prospect. I can make a lot more with CleanSpark. And that was always my thesis. In fact, when I sold a lot of my ETH last year, it went into CleanSpark, went into MicroStrategy, it went into Solana, all of which have completely crushed Ethereum. So that proved to be good. Next question. Best proxies for specific cryptocurrencies like Sol. So there are two options right now, only two. That's weird. The thing is transparent. That's kind of cool. No idea how that happened. But you can see here, there's OSOL, which I have speculated on and traded in somebody's retirement account, which has been golden. The price of OSOL is not showing up here because it's about 280 now, well, not 180. I should go to that, but I'll share the model later for this so you can see all the discounts. It's a model I built. It has everything in there as well as GDLC and a whole bunch of other proxies, MicroStrategy and GSOL. GSOL is very expensive. OSOL is not as expensive. So if it's your only on-ramp in a retirement account, speculate and trade on OSOL. It's very volatile, but it's extremely, if I'm trying to buy $100,000 worth of it, I can't get a fill. So the liquidity is extremely shallow. So be careful of that too. Next, concerns about market manipulation and its impact on Bitcoin and proxies. Well, the stark reality is market manipulation always exists. Always go in with your eyes open. Assume you are being played. Always be paranoid. That's the way you survive in these markets. But that being said, money is coming in from these ETFs. Therefore, I embrace it. It's a good thing. Now, there's a couple of things that I do want to touch on regarding market manipulation. Yes, the market makers are playing games. Then you have the T+1, T+2 delay of when they have to sell the shares versus buy the Bitcoin. SEC was concerned about surveillance. Apparently, NASDAQ are doing surveillance, but NASDAQ and BlackRock are in bed together, so can you really trust them? I don't know. Being paranoid, I wouldn't. Then you got liquidity and price manipulation, OTC desks, market makers, Coinbase Prime, all these players. IBIT not buying anything for 4 days. Many other reasons. I could talk for hours about this. Yes, manipulation happens, but the money, everything's manipulated. So if you are afraid of Bitcoin now because you think the market's manipulated, try gold, try silver, try anything else. Everything is heavily manipulated. In fact, if anything, Bitcoin is the least manipulated. Also, some breaking news too. The Bitcoin Exchange Reserve just hit an all-time low. This just came in late last night, which is extremely good. So the supply crunch is coming. Now, what I also urge people to do as well, I'm creating a list. I'll share this as well on Patreon later. It's a list of all the ETFs that are transparent and public about their Bitcoin addresses. So you can add them up yourself. We've got Wisdom Tree, we've got VanEck, Franklin Templeton. I think Fidelity has one too. I don't know if it's on this list. I need to check. But again, watch those. Play with those that are more transparent. It'll help things. Now, how are we going with the questions? Hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to just blast through this. So hopefully it'll get a lot of the questions out of the way. That's the idea. And also give you maximum information per minute, as always. So next question is price forecast for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies this cycle and insights on market cycles and expected tops and bottoms. I have invested millions in tools and systems to make sure, and I am in a fortunate position to be able to do that, to make sure I do not make the same mistake again. That's why I do this. I'd rather spend a ton of money and just to make sure we do not miss the top. So we have massive investments to make sure we've got the tools and the approach to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We were scammed last bull run because of all the characters and many other factors too. I don't need to go there. You know the score. But these are my conservative sandbagged predictions for where I believe we could go this cycle for these assets. Now, first of all, I think Bitcoin easy 120, maybe 150. A lot of people are calling for 240 plus. I don't know if we'll get that high. A lot of people will take profits north of 100K. We might just get to 120 and then stop. So be prepared for that. Then Solana could hit $356 to $500. Again, we are at 180 as we speak, so that's a 2x to 3x from here. Not bad. Ethereum 5K to 7K, much of that is dependent on them staying alive, and also the spot ETF for Ethereum, which may or not be approved. I think it will be approved eventually, we just don't know when. I see CleanSpark going to $45. That's the 3x from here. MicroStrategy, $3,000. About $2,900 to $3,000 if Bitcoin hits 120K. But remember, World War III, Black Swans, all bets are off the table. And also, most importantly, Solana is already 22x from the bottom. Bitcoin is 4x. MicroStrategy is 9.3x. It has been an incredible bull run. And I know for a fact we have at least 1,000 MicroStrategy millionaires alone in the community. Okay? People that I was, and for those who are new, my strategy, I think it was during the bear, I said, I'm not going to buy spot ETF, spot Bitcoin. I'm going to buy leveraged options on MicroStrategy instead because I believe I can control risk better and make much more money. And boy, that was an incredible. Like I've been stacking Bitcoin since 2017, and my MicroStrategy position is more than twice the size of my Bitcoin position. And it's bonkers what happened, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Anyway, speaking of MicroStrategy, I'll get back to that later because there's some interesting stuff I have to share about that too. Next is recommendations and resources for learning options trading. Cover call strategies for assets like FBTC and other cryptocurrencies. So I am very careful about this because one of my big learnings in 2021 was sometimes people play with tools, but they're not equipped to play with certain tools. Let me explain. It's like me putting somebody here in the audience in the cockpit of a 747 jumbo jet after they've only flown a Cessna, and the plane will crash and burn. That's just the reality. Options are dangerous. They're tools designed to hedge risk and screw retail investors. And remember, 90% of options expire worthless. So do not play with them unless you've done the learnings. Now, everything I know about options is in my options playlist on YouTube. We'll add the link here. Everything is in here. Every secret. My whole strategy, my money glitch that I've discovered decades ago, and I decided to share what I do. But remember, options can wreck you. If you sell a put and the stock goes to zero, you can destroy your entire position. So allocations matter. My MicroStrategy position, was basically almost zero cash on the table, but I was using a lot of margin. And my cost basis is pretty much zero for most of my MicroStrategy because I sold calls against the position. My original synthetic long cost $9. And now I have no skin in the game and a monstrous position. Riddle me that. And that's kind of another money glitch that we found here. But everything is in this option playlist. Also, I've done dedicated Patreon exclusive videos. Check those out too, where I go into depth about all of this. And if you guys want, I can do another option video. But remember, again, putting these tools in the hands of people that don't know where they are on the financial options spectrum can get hurt. That's why I'm very reticent to do this. But I do share everything I do. And if you look at this and you're really interested in learning, watch these videos. Every secret I know is in here. Every single one. Now, a potential threat to AI breaking Bitcoin encryption and how to mitigate it. A lot of people are concerned about this. So basically, we've covered this a few times. I'll make this very fast. Yes, there is a quantum computing threat. I could go into detail about the qubits and everything else, but we don't have to worry about that until 2028. That's when the power will be there to crack Bitcoin, crack old wallets. But Bitcoin can easily be quantum proofed. They need to increase key sizes, etc. And if there is any danger, literally, or any remote danger of any risk to the protocol, I am out, and you will hear about it as well. I will not hang around. I will ditch. That's one of the reasons why I got into such a heavy MicroStrategy position, because I want to be forced to sell. It's very hard to sell Bitcoin because it's so pristine and hard. But MicroStrategy, no, speculation. Ditch it in a heartbeat. Don't care. So don't worry about the quantum threat to Bitcoin. Also, timing and approach for using HELOC for investment purposes. Everybody is asking about, I want to borrow to speculate. Lethal thing to do. Okay, you should only invest what you can afford to lose. That's the number one rule. And you never, ever borrow to speculate. Now, there is an exception to this rule as well. Let me walk through these. And I spelled them out in great detail to make sure it's very clear. Borrowing to speculate is dangerous. Never do it. Exception, if the markets are extremely oversold. For example, I have no problem somebody taking out a $100,000 HELOC when Bitcoin is below $17,000 and paying 6 or 8% on that $100,000 for 5 years. not a problem because we know Bitcoin's going higher. At least there's a 99% chance. But remember, ensure affordability. Make sure if you do ever borrow, make sure you can easily cover the payments no matter what happens, even if the asset goes to zero. Also, protect your credit score. Make sure you get dinged. If you damage your credit score, that confines you from being able to borrow. And I don't even have to do this for pristine assets like Bitcoin. And remember, think of things in terms of a minimum 5-year repayment period. It's very difficult to tell what Bitcoin will do week to week, month to month. But over 3 to 5 years, it's very easy. Same thing with Tesla. So quick piece on that. Strategies for taking profits at the end of the bull. We have multiple models. I will also share these. There's a whole bunch of sharing coming after this. This is the kind of crude one, which talks about how you can layer out at certain layers based on cost basis of an asset and what to do. Like this can also be applied if you have all Bitcoin and you want to diversify. You can use the layer out to get into other assets, build up your Solana bag or CleanSpark bag or whatever the case may be. But we are adding a new version of this, which will be driven off cost basis, driven off dynamic layers, and rotation into other assets. And again, the key to this, even if you sell 10% each step of the way, you only leave a tiny amount on the table versus holding till the very top, which very few people have the ability to sell. So don't get greedy, take profits. And we'll be working on this, and this is my entire focus right now for the next, till the top of this run, identifying models that identify tops and identifying optimization of profit taking. That's it. That's the only thing I'm focused on. Our bags are packed. Yeah, we'll do some very small DCAing. Like when I buy something, if I buy some, say, Solana or Grinter or Perp, literally it is a fraction of 1% of my position. It is very small. All my heavy buying happened in the bear market. Billions are made in the bear, not at this stage of the game. Yes, I moved some money into Bitcoin at 60K because that was like kind of my money market. JLP is also kind of my money market. That's where I park cash, where I know the downside is limited. Upside is maybe a 2x, no big swings. But when I invest, I want to make at least 3 to 10x in what I do. Next, options, opinions, and analysis on MicroStrategy. A couple of things here real quick on MicroStrategy. You know, it's my biggest position, so I watch this like a hawk. And again, congratulations to the thousands of MicroStrategy millionaires here. The inclusion in the MSCI index, it's funny, MS and MicroStrategy, get it? MSCI index will be big. That's happening at the end of this month in 11 days. And that will increase its visibility and attractiveness and get you that perpetual bid. That's going to really help drive the price up. Also, we've seen some of this pre-run as well happening over the last couple of weeks, which is great. Jim Cramer said, don't buy MicroStrategy, buy Bitcoin instead. That's a very bullish sign for me. Whatever Jim Cramer says, do the opposite. MicroStrategy also has a very high short interest. It's got one hedge fund at least that's short right now. They need to cover, which will drive the price higher. And on a spike, that's when I sell the covered call. And the analyst rating is getting very strong, and people now understand the calculus. And the calculus of MicroStrategy is this, all right? How did I get to my $3,000 price? $2,839 conservatively. That doesn't include any premium. If Bitcoin hits 120K, MicroStrategy will go to 2,839, probably more than 3,000. Could even be an awful lot higher. So that is the model, and it tracks this almost perfectly. If I told you what the price would be on that green line, your face would melt. So I'm not going to say that. But literally, it could go a lot higher than $3,000. And considering we spent $9 on a synthetic long, we sold calls against our position, reducing our cost basis, it's insane. Absolutely insane. How, again, I don't know if these times will continue when we have another bear market to have these opportunities, but be ready because they are beyond life-changing. Also, and it's funny, one thing as well, people always said, a lot of people left during the bear, they took a year off. Never do that. Never, ever, ever leave in the bear. If anything, you leave in the bull. You don't leave in the bear. Bear is where the money is made, everybody. So just remember that for next time. If there is a next time, if I can continue. Now, CleanSpark, let's look at the miner model. Easiest way to portray all the miners. CleanSpark is still top. Cypher is number 2. Bitfarms is number 3. Now, these things are measured based on all ratios, all financials, all ratios and ratios that I look at. It doesn't take into account the shit show that could be within the management team of both Cypher and Bitfarms and insider holdings and that type of stuff. That is not taken into account. They are the red flags. And my CleanSpark position makes up 92 to 93% of all my miner positions. I do have a little Riot and I do have a little Bitfarms. And that's it. So again, heavy concentration in the key asset, the winner. That's how I invest. Now, let me see. There's a little question that came in as well. I'll do this super quick because it shows you how I kind of view things. Somebody wanted to say, should they hold Visa and MasterCard together? Let's look at them both because it's very interesting. Visa, what I don't like is kind of sluggish growth. And over the last few quarters, it's been flat. Yes, they make a ton of money. They print money, but they could also be cannibalized by crypto. And I do not like the fact that Visa have more debt than cash. Freaking scary. MasterCard have way more debt than cash. Terrifying. That would disqualify it for me, but they print a lot of money. The EBITDA is very, very high. Now, if you look at the valuation, Visa is fairly valued, and so is MasterCard. And that's all I'm going to talk about those guys. And diversification, final piece, how I am diversified right now. Remember, my positions, I am 20% Tesla, 38.1% MicroStrategy, 16% Bitcoin, 15.3%. That's probably higher. It's probably like more than 16%. I bet you my Solana bag is now higher than my Bitcoin bag because Solana went on a rampage over the last few hours. SolAlts 3%, Baba 0.3%, Enphase 0.6%, CleanSpark 4.6%, Nvidia 1%. I sold most of my Nvidia. That is how I am structured. Now, do not follow this. The cost basis of MicroStrategy is 0. The cost basis of CleanSpark is close to 0. The cost basis of Solana is $20. If I was rebuilding this today, I'd be in the same positions, but different concentrations. So remember that as well. It's about a point in time and your cost basis, which determines allocations. And the very final question, the role of technology in the Lightning Network. I think Lightning is crap. I think Bitcoin is too slow. I don't see any L2s fixing that problem. You got a lot of people shilling L2s right now. You got Scott Melker having this L2 guy from Stacks. Stacks has the crappiest compendium score and it has no usage. And it even has an SCP profiler score. It's garbage. Do not buy Stacks. Short it if you can. Not financial advice. So I'm going to open this up now to questions from you all. And I hope that intro, I think I spent 20 minutes on it, was valuable because that covers a lot of the topics on your minds. Sorry for going fast, but we have a lot of ground to cover. And it's incredible to see what the market is doing right now. Let me see if I can do a little screen share. Boom. Did that work? Let me see. Yeah, it did. Woohoo. Technology is working for me today. That's nice. So this is the Bitcoin spike that just happened. Bitcoin's up $2,100 as we speak. So now I'm going to take some questions and really appreciate everybody in this community. And we have 1,000 people watching live. That is awesome. I'm going to go to the questions first, and K8 is going to pull the other things that are wrapping up too. First of all, I hope, let me see. Let me see. From Mountain Search. Let's get this right. If Elon's package is voted down, any chance he breaks off Optimus and energy segments away from Tesla into separate companies? And what would that do to Tesla price? So the good news is Gary Black was very positive on the vote going the proper way, but I don't trust Gary Black. Second of all, retail investors own somewhere between 43 and 46% of all Tesla stock, and they are very pro-Elon. In fact, it has the highest concentration of retail investors than any other stock that we know, which is awesome. But A couple of key things here is the vote for Texas is a huge hill to climb. That may not happen. Would Elon pull Optimus out of Tesla and the energy segment? Energy segment, definitely not. Optimus and AI. I think if he didn't get paid, he would be upset. But the company would find a new way to pay him. And Tesla is his vessel by which to change the world. Remember, he's on a mission. He's not about money. He works like me 7 days. Well, I wish I could work as hard as him, but I try. I feel lazy compared to Elon. But Tesla is his vessel. I think they'll find a way to solve this problem. If Tesla did not have Elon, it would not be good for the stock price. Not at all. And that's the blunt truth. I am 20% Tesla right now. And by the way, that position is very, very large. When I see the amount of shares that Meet Kevin and the guy from Gerber Kawasaki and Gary Black have, they have tiny positions. So these people are really irrelevant as well. Crypto Seed Johnny, what is your recommended strategy in case the SEC wins case versus Coinbase and effectively label Sol as security? They already have. Everything is a security except for Bitcoin. People think the SEC runs the world. The SEC is irrelevant. Gary Gensler is going to be shit-canned soon. There will be a regime change. He needs to be gone. He's given the Democrats a black eye. Now, apparently, Biden was going to veto the crypto bill. Now he's apparently just going to leave it slide because it gives the Democrats a bad look. And it's going to be a competitive election. So if you are against crypto, you're dead. You shoot yourself in the foot. Don't worry about the SEC labeling Solana as security. And by the way, I saw a report, I'll share it later, on how much 3 of the 7 major keys are held by Cardano. A huge amount of Cardano is held by the insiders at IOG or IOHK or whatever it's called. Also, the SEC will label Ethereum as security. Does that matter? No. Crypto is unstoppable. So just please, everybody, don't worry about stuff that doesn't matter. We went through the bull market and people were freaking out about nonsense. And again, yes, investing is risky, but please focus on the proper stuff. Don't let FUD and crap and BS that's irrelevant shake you out of your position. Very important. Furious Gato, moving out of crypto into AI stocks. Which companies do you have on radar? And which ones are you nibbling at? So that, I would be a buyer of NVIDIA again at $500, $600. And everything I have going into Tesla has not changed. Tesla, yes, there is risk with the comp plan and there's all sorts of risk, but there is no company like it. No company like it. I valued the Megapack business alone as $1 trillion. Okay? There's no company like it. Literally. And I've been analyzing companies for 35 years. John SoCal. Many experts advise selling on way down rather than way up. Lilo is selling on way up. Can you explain how selling on way up is better? So it's about rotation. So these experts, by the way, one other thing, I'll go off and around here. There's people that are personal trainers. There's people that used to work at help desks. There's people that, whatever, they're retired and they need to make money or whatever, like that Fred Krueger guy, who is great, friend of the channel. Like he's a guy who has background in finance and markets. Mando is a guy who has background in finance and markets. I have a background in finance and markets. The rest don't. So be careful who you label an expert. Even Raoul Paul, friend of the channel, believes in profit taking into NFTs. And I've never heard anything so ridiculous in my life. So be careful of who you categorize as experts. Watch their track record. All right? Watch their track record. I guarantee you, nobody in any public realm has made the money that I have made in the last 18 months. And I'll put that in writing for you. Nobody. All right? And you've seen my results live. Everything is transparent. All right. So selling on the way up versus selling on the way down is better. So Lilo is designed to work in levels or layers. What you can actually do is, depending on your situation, you can sell the layers, especially if you're tax free. That can be extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Now, if you are not tax free and you are getting short term capital gains, be careful on profit taking. I'm working on a new model as well that will incorporate, hopefully we'll be able to plug in our effective tax rate, long-term, short-term capital gains, and you'll be able to determine if, imagine your cost basis for Bitcoin is 20K and you sell at 120. What's your tax implication? Or you sell on layers, what's your tax implication? Or if your cost base is 60 and you sell at 120 and you're paying 50% in capital gains tax, it really impacts the actual profitability of the position. So, but also profit taking on the way up is always better. On the way down, markets can crash really fast. Risk happens fast. All right. You can be caught out in a heartbeat. So I think it's always better to be in control. Have your profit taken layers on the way up. You leave only a tiny amount on the table, between 10 and 13%, depending on your layers, versus holding up to the very top. And I guarantee you, when it falls, it'll fall more than 13% in a very short window of time, especially if we get a blow off top. All right. Blow off tops also become blow down bottoms. Never said that before, but maybe it'll become a thing. So be careful. And again, John SoCal, there are very few experts out there. Just remember that. There's a lot of people that talk the talk, a lot of people that pump their bags, a lot of people that manipulate shit. A lot of people are paid to say stuff. A lot of people are psyops. Be careful. Do not trust anybody. Watch their track record. All right. Chuckles Dog 95. MicroStrategy calls are so expensive. Why don't you sell shorter term calls more often, as they're getting ridiculous at this level? Yeah, I do, only when we are at extreme overbought positions using mean reversion. So let me show you what I mean by that. Give me 1 second. Let's pull up the daily and give me a second. Not this one. Turn this off. And I want to show you how important this is. Where is my mean reversion? These are all the models that we have. And this mean reversion model was a dream of mine in the 90s. And never had it. So let's, hopefully you guys can still see. All right. So last time we had this, see these levels up here? That's when I sell covered calls. When we're beyond 2 standard deviations from the mean. Then you know it's good. And then I can just sell a truckload of them against my position. And yes, I could try get cute and do that right now, but it's too risky to play with, especially if Bitcoin runs. That's my biggest fear. And one of my rules as well is never to jump in front of a freight train for a small, picking up pennies in front of a roller coaster. So yeah, that's kind of me. But when we do get to this level of mean reversion up here, 3.53, that's when I went short on MicroStrategy. It was about $2,000, if I recall. And that's how I do it. This model here, let's do the overlay actually. So you can see exactly what I mean. All right, it's picture perfect. And the beauty of how we've configured mean reversion, it tells you when we are overbought, before we are overbought, so you can prepare. Okay, this is a Bible. All right, so anybody who knows what I'm talking about, it is golden. And this applies for everything. CleanSpark, when I hedged CleanSpark, same thing. When I was going to hedge Sol on another model called PTOS, I didn't do it because I felt the weekends are strong. And I was right. And Solana ran. All right. So Josh, what's your take on Pentoshi claiming Solana can't get past 420 because of the insane printing and unlocks coming? So I don't know who Pentoshi is. I can tell you everybody hates Solana. I went through absolute hell and back during the bear. I was the only guy who stuck to my guns and bought a crap ton of Solana at $8. Everybody else had bailed. All right. If I spent a second listening to anybody on Twitter, I'd be a very poor man. All right. So I don't listen to anybody. I do my own analysis. Solana's trading at a fifth the market cap of ETH, and it does more than ETH on nearly every metric except for TVL. And second of all, if it does get to 420 with an average cost basis of $20, I'll be mostly out of the position anyway, to be honest. So 420 is amazing. And I learned as well a few months ago that 420 has a different meaning too. And it's not a sailboat. So think about that too. So thank you, Josh. Josh is our IA Digest, Daily Digest collector. So thank you, Josh, for all you do. What trades do you see yourself taking in the next crypto bear? MicroStrategy options around 2. Sol similar to 2022, but we don't know. So the next bear market is, a year and a half away, and we don't know what the future will look like. And as I always say, Bitcoin could be dead in 3 months. Solana could be killed by an AI blockchain that gets better product market fit and more adoption. We can't tell till we get there. But we do have the models and the systems to be able to identify winners early. That's a huge part of my entire focus, because I discovered in life, getting into a position early and hard is life-changing. Wall Street work in a different way. Wall Street wait to see the earnings in a spreadsheet. And then they say, oh, this is cheap now. You got to be in before you see those earnings in the spreadsheet. All right. It's a different approach to how we were trained, but that's how you make money, everybody. So again, Josh, we don't know who the winner is going to be next time, but during the bear, we have all the qualitative, all the models built that require a ton of maintenance, but they are money. The original Crypto Compendium and SCP Profiler helped me get the conviction, and it reminds me of Amazon in 2003, 2002, I can't remember exactly. The stock was at $6. Okay. The business was growing like a weed and about to become profitable. And everybody said it was dead. It's the same thing. When you have the data to be able to forecast the future, you're golden. And that's what we do here. Silence of the Clams, cool name. With the concerns of future liquidity for SS, Social Security that is, if age 63 plus, would you take now early to invest, even though it reduces the monthly amount? I'm a bad person to ask that question because I never trust. I'm paranoid. I don't trust government. I don't trust pharmaceutical companies. I don't trust big food. I don't trust anybody on Twitter. I don't trust. and I actually, when I was a wage slave, I had to pay into Social Security. I have no idea if I'll ever see a penny of that. I also never did 401ks. I probably should have, but I knew I wouldn't need money when I was 65. But if I had money when I was 30, I could invest it and make a lot more money for the next 35 years than locking it away in something where I'm prevented from investing in the things that I like to invest in, like options and stuff. So I never did that. I think if a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, if you can pull money out and invest it, put it into something safe. Like Tesla is going to do well. Bitcoin is going to do well. Fiat is going to go down. So silence of the clams, that's not financial. I shouldn't say that stuff, but it's reality. You can make more money yourself. Jimmy Neal, what predictions do you have for Riot and Bitfarms compared to CleanSpark? I think CleanSpark will outperform. Riot is a very special case. Riot does well by virtue of the fact that they get electricity credits, not on the way they run. They are not effective and efficient, but they are when you add in those credits. And that's kind of why I don't have a large position in Riot. Bitfarms and even Cypher are beasts. They could do a lot more, but the bigger the asset, the more institutional money it gets. That's why you saw Marathon do well for a long time, even though Marathon has never held a candle to CleanSpark for the last 24 months. Never. So, CleanSpark does a 3x. I think these smaller guys could easily do a 3x too. So Bitfarms, let's check the Bitfarms chart right now. So I should have done that. I should show the chart because that'll give us a better picture. Now I have all my little lists here, and turn this off. Let's go. So Bitfarms, $1.81. I'm going to turn off the mean reversion, and you see the trend is still down in Bitfarms. Bitfarms got whacked. I had a choice to make. Should I sell it at $1.60? I think I made a Patreon post. I said no. It's so beaten down. Just going to hold. My cost basis is around $2, so I'm holding on that guy. Riot has actually been strong. Trend has just flipped up. This will go back to like 16 or $18, and then probably sell a call or pull the plug and just get out of the position. So that would be my take. And let's check out CleanSpark, where we are today. I probably paired it against something down here. Oh, where is CleanSpark? There it is. 1750. This thing is going to go back to $22. And then from there, we shall see. 45. And again, once people start seeing the earnings, and there's a big buy flag there on the ATR on this too, which is very reliable. Yeah, go for it. Now, Jimmy, hope that helps. Peter, and by the way, when you go back to the amount that I have allocated to miners, in aggregate, it's about 5%. Way heavier in MicroStrategy. Miners are a cutthroat business, but they're fun, especially buying them in the bear. And I do still buy Bitcoin or CleanSpark at $15. What if after taking profits we find out there is a super cycle like the gold ETF? We can't get back in at lower price. Exactly. That's why we have the top and bottom model. So this will tell us if, let's pull that up and see where we are now on Bitcoin. Everything that we have built is to inform good decisions. All right. So we don't get caught out, and we have multiple tools telling us similar things. So I'm going to also pop this up to the top. Hold on a second. Alrighty. Now we will turn this off. The Bitstamp should be good for quite a long time. All right. Here we got a whole bunch of cool stuff to look at. Top and bottom indicator. By the way, these red things, these red shadows, which is part of ATR, shows you where the bear market is. Those curtains. I wanted that in the system to give people perspective. When we get up to these levels, that's when we should get really worried. Right now, we are actually down based on the 2021 different on-chain metrics that we use to determine if we are at top and bottom. That includes things like Pi Cycle and a whole bunch of other stuff. A very intricate composite score that took ages to crack to identify tops and bottoms. People have their risk indicators and stuff. This is the best, all right? And I do a lot of on-chain, as you know, as well. When we get to orange and dark orange, that's when we start getting really nervous and we have our finger on the ejector seat. If we get to red, that's time to get out. That's it, period. Maybe dark orange, take some off the table or half off the table. That perpetual bid scenario only happens if there is perpetual bidding going on. It will stay light orange or even yellow for a long time and just creep up. Okay, that's the way this thing is engineered. If we get the red or the dark orange, that's a blow off top. That means it will mean revert. And when you put on, let's get really sexy here, everybody. Let's throw mean reversion on top of this. All right. It's getting a bit busy now, but the key, I'm going to move mean reversion to the bottom so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. New pane below. Boom. All right. When you get this crazy mean reversions up here, you know there's a problem, and it will come down. All right. And then sometimes it comes down for a long time. So that's what we'll be looking at. And it works both ways too at the bottoms. bottom identifier here, bottom identifier here, etc. All right, so we have all the tools to be able to make the right decisions. Peter, thank you for the question. Tempest Fowl, how do you balance your YouTube investing home life? Definitely don't want to work at your level, and I find I struggle. I work 7 days a week, 12 to 16 hours a day, and that's it. My commitment is to be here every day of this bull run. Once, if you see me going on vacation, then you know the bull run's over. But that's my commitment. I want to try save as many souls as I can while I still can. It's just too important a time, and it could be our last opportunity for this type of cycle as well. So, we'll see what happens. My balance is just mostly work, a little bit of sleep, and then to relax, I cook and I do gardening and take care of the family as much as I can. But, they're old, grown up, and that's it. So this is the family now. Gagan, what model do you recommend to trade MicroStrategy, CleanSpark, Lilo? So MicroStrategy, the best model is the Arb Cloud. Let's have a look at that actually right now. Let's turn this off. The best all-round model is actually ATR. That's the most powerful, cheapest tool where you can do all sorts of things. You can flip your signal logic to none or deviation or trend. You can play with your time frames. You can turn on your back test, find out how good it's performing. And again, this will tell you this doesn't perform well. And you can just toggle things as you need. No noise, no suppression. And you win 88% of the time. But you got to trade a lot. This is on the daily chart. So you might be doing, for example, here. This is a time frame. It goes back to, this is auto anchor, which picks the top of the market. And you do 42 trades in 3 years. So what's that, about 12, 13 trades a year? But you will win 88% of the time. And you will get a very good ROI on your investing. This is probably the simplest, easiest, definitely the most powerful model. This one, there's two things that burnt my brain. One is optimized trend. Cracking the code on that was the biggest mental challenge I've had in my life. And number two was this. And we try to cover costs, that's all. This is kind of the easy step one go-to if you want to be a much more sophisticated trader on a much narrower time frame. You'd go IDSS. Lilo is designed for profit taking, not for trading. And Arb Cloud is designed for arbing. Let's see what it says right now on MicroStrategy. Remember, MicroStrategy is going through a very peculiar period. Now we need to always, of course, be in MicroStrategy for the Arb Cloud to work. Wow, it's up $80 today. It's just an unbelievable gift. So right now, this is insane. I didn't realize it was gone up so much. But we're above the cloud right now. So we go to the settings. Let's see. It should be intrinsic value about 1.2 billion because that's the value of the business. And they got 214,400. And tight, if I go very tight, you kind of see where we are, but we're above the cloud, which means typically now you sell MicroStrategy and you go back into Bitcoin. But we have the wild card. One is S&P 500 edition, and number two is the fact that MSCI has to start stacking them as well. So it's tricky to say, but again, go with the trend. And if you zoom in to say a 3-month time frame, let's give you a very different perspective. And I play the Arb Cloud on a much shorter time frame here. So you can see under the cloud is when you buy MicroStrategy, above the cloud is when you sell MicroStrategy into Bitcoin, and vice versa, up, down, up, down, up, down. That is if you're just trading that and you have the ability to flip MicroStrategy into like FBTC, boom. It's a great way to build your bags and build a retirement real fast and easy. So hope that helps. Luca, How do you make amazing content every day? So a big part of this is the team that we have behind us. There's lots of players that do everything. The most of the resources go into the developers, and as I mentioned, a lot there, but also the content and the analysts and the creative types, etc. They do that. So we also have the ability, because we've built so many models and so many APIs, we now have so many ways of modeling stuff out and sourcing data, and we pay for every subscription under the sun, with the exception of, what did I cancel? I think Bankless. I didn't cancel Bankless. I non-renewed it, because I typically pay for things at a year at a time. But that's how we have all the data. We have the team, and we've got a well-oiled engine. But it's a lot of work, and it's 7 days a week. Let me see. Rhythm Wizard. Oh, by the way, I am late. I have to go to a developer meeting. Speaking of, gotta go in 2 minutes. I'm already 10 minutes late. I didn't even see that. Rhythm Wizard. Should I take advantage of the 9.99% interest rate on Model Y? And I already have a reliable car and would result in purchasing less Tesla and Bitcoin monthly. So that's tough. If you do a lot of driving, like if you drive more than, say, 20 to 30 miles a day, yes. If you have a car that's an ICE car, it will literally depreciate very fast over the next 5 years. That's a combustion engine car. And over that 5 or 6 year period, you're basically borrowing free money. And it's also a very safe car that will prevent you from ever having an accident. I would not drive anything else but a Tesla, period. Jod Wayne 1, have you ever timed trades by session or day or a week, i.e. by Friday, sell Sunday? No, I don't do that. That's too risky, because markets do change. And when you think you've got it cracked, the market will change. Because remember, there are people that have more data than you and more ability to manipulate markets than you do, and that will wipe you out. So never get comfortable with the market. Always keep refining your strategies. Stay on top of stuff. Use tools. Everything here, by the way, has an exact purpose to make money and shore up gaps. And that is weird. I'm hearing, hopefully it's not a bust pipe or something. All these things have very specific purposes, specific needs to help people shore up blind spots. Everybody, I've got to run to a developer meeting I'm late for. Thank you all for coming, each and every one of you. Love being here. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments below. I do read all the comments and post on Patreon as well. And let me know how we can get better at this. But that was a lot of material in an hour. Okay, everybody. Thank you as well, TND Tesla and K8, for all that you do here in the community every day. And I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.